Hi guys, welcome to the second part of the Raj Kaul podcast. So this is the second one I'm doing now. As usual, I'm probably talking a lot of nonsense and lots of Cobb squallock, if that's a word. I think it's from the BFG Giants film, if you know that film. Anyway, that's enough of me talking nonsense. So I'm actually really exhausted today because I was at Wembley yesterday watching the FA Cup final. But it's not about me today. It's about a very special guest and a really good friend who's become a really good friend of mine over lockdown, actually. So, but we'll talk about that later. I'm going to introduce you to my Shotavid, my bra, and RJ Raman. I'm going to call him Raman anyway, but he's. I think he's. I'll let him introduce himself. Raman.
Thank you for having me, man. You know, I'm a bit feeling very nervous now because it's the first time I'm getting interviewed as well. So
it's normally you on the other end.
Well, that's it. Yeah, it's usually like that because at the end of the day, I mean, everyone knows me preferably like from the name of RJ Raman. So it's all related to radio, presenting, hosting. I think that's how I got to know you as well with your Zol track.
Mm-hmm.
Through your music. So yeah, man. So radio presenter, a YouTuber as well, and now currently music.
Brilliant. Honestly, the I've got to say, just we're probably going to talk about this later as well. But
yeah,
the amount of stuff you do for musicians, the love of your music, the love that you've got for music is really phenomenal, really, because I just see. I think that's how I noticed you, Raman.
Yeah,
that's how initially the amount of stuff you do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how it started.
Yeah. So it's actually phenomenal. So that's how I noticed, and I just sort of want to give you sort of a massive shout out for that. So, but I want to know more about you because there's a lot of things I don't know about you either. So, your bit about your background, where you're from, how you started. So, just if you want to indulge in any stories about how you got into music, how you got into radio, go ahead. Platform.
With the background, so born and bred in Leeds. So from West Yorkshire, so that's where my birth is from, and did my primary school as a normal kid, to high school, to college, to university. But as a profession, as a full-time profession, I'm a graphic designer by trade. So I've got my own branding agency. We've got a family sign-making firm down in Leeds for the last 40 years, established by my father, but now carrying on forward the legacy now. But yeah, so starting my journey as a graphic designer, then it took off to a different level here. I mean, I remember when talking about the radio side of things, because I've been a massive follower of UK Bhangra music from day one, from my childhood days. I mean, there's a massive history behind it in terms of like, as you know, we have family weddings in the UK and everything, and, you know, get-togethers and stuff. And we always have Punjabi music playing in our functions and stuff. Or whatever, it's a Jagoda or whatever. So my childhood days of just being like, in terms of involved with like Punjabi music in the UK when there used to be the band era back in the 90s. Okay, I'm from the 90s era, 90s the birth Hamira. And from that passion, or I would say like interest, I've always wanted to interact with artists from a little age. You know, I've never managed to attend any concerts. I've never watched any artists perform on stage never ever, you know, been to any concerts. But I've always had this kind of passion thing to know artists on a personal level. And how it took off is back in around about 2015, I would say, the local community station here. They were actually in search of radio presenters, and they said that we need some young blood come in the music to do radio presenting and stuff in the radio. And I was like, nah, that's not my game. You know, it's not kind of my thing, you know. I was like very hesitant. It took obviously a year, 2 years, then 3 years later, I had one of their presenters working in our office, and he said that, yaar, you know, tera bolan da style bada kamal da hai, right? You Punjabi's pure, and you know your way, you know, your enthusiasm's quite good, right? You got a friendly nature and stuff. I said, yaar, tu aaya kar utthe radio station te. And I was like, yaar, they've been going on for 3 years now. I thought, let's give it a try. Let's have a try. Then it came down in 2017 then. And I went on the radio to start my show on there. And first it started as a duo. I had an elderly banda. He must have been in his 50s or something. I was about 28, I think, at the time.
Okay.
When I started. I was like, we started as a duo on a Saturday. 2 ਘੰਟਿਆਂ ਦਾ show ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, just a 2-hour slot. And he would play his songs. His type of music used to be like more duet songs, like Miss Pooja, Geeta Zelda, them kind of songs and stuff. And I was more towards the UK Bhangra side of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be playing like people like, even Shinda Baji's music, or I would play Sahotas, or even I would be playing Mangal Singh, them kind of era singers. And at one point what happened was that the presenter what was with me before, he had to go on an emergency visit to London or something, and it was just myself then. I was pretty nervous at that time because I didn't know how to use the mixer, first of all. I didn't have no control. Mixer use I was like, I don't know how to do this now. And the chairman of the radio, I said, Uncle, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I said, he's not here. I don't know how to use the mixer. I don't know how I'm going to, work with the playlist and everything on there. I said, yaar, tu kar lunga, tu kar li. Tu aap hi kar li. Main bhi bahar gaya hai, Leicester, main bhi nahi aa sakta. I'm like, he's put me in more dilemma now, right? Right. So finally I reached in the radio in the station, and I'm like, okay. I was like literally counting the minutes on the clock. Ki yaar 2 bajne wale hi hun. I'm like, oh God, how am I going to do this now?
So was this live?
This was live.
Wow.
Yeah, this was live on the radio, right? And I was like, what the hell, man? How's this going to work out? And ek passe adan chal rahi on the playlist. Ek passe, music's getting played. Like music and adverts are playing on top of each other. I'm like completely made a mess of the whole show, right? And chairman the phone like, and yaar, ਤੈਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਤਾਂ ਸੀਗਾ playlist ਬੜਾ ਅਲੱਗ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, mixer ਦਾ ਅਲੱਗ ਹੁੰਦਾ. So ਚਲੋ ਠੀਕ ਆ, I'll do it again. I would say about 20 minutes later, I was into the show, I'm presenting, I'm talking about the singers, I'm talking about the song and everything. He rings me back saying, yaar, tere kalliyan da show hi bada zabardast tha. He said, yaar, tu kalliyan da show le, you do a solo slot. Forget duet, right?
Wow.
Do a solo one. मैं क्या अच्छा अंकल मैं क्या फिर कर दो फिर कहंदा तू संडे दा slot ले ला 4 to 6 वाला, right? And I did like a 4 to 6 from that day onwards to 2020. It just grew on. Like the show went to a different scale completely. I'm doing interviews with artists. It kind of built a bit of more confidence in me, and I think that's where the radio presenting kind of things I just got that energy, that boost, that people are listening and people are thinking that his show's sounding good, and I think that's where it all kicked off. It was I would say it was a coincidence. It wasn't planned. It just made एक बहाना मिल जाता है to get into something where you've never thought of to do. And that's where it took off, man. All the radio things started from there. Then bitchy pandemic aa gaya. The COVID pandemic came. First lockdown, ghar baithe, no idea what to do. And then kudarti ki hoya, I had Sukshinder Shinda Paji phone me. And haal chal puchha ki ho raha. And he's one of those people that when you actually speak to them, you feel this kind of spiritual energy from his voice. Naturally, that he is very kind of like very spiritually attached. You would say very positive thinking banda. And he said, Raman Singh ki kar rahe hain aajkal? And main kya paji bas belle baithe hai. We started lockdown at home, we got nothing to do. I said, tera radio kida chalda? I said, I've taken time off, with all this pandemic stuff. And I was a bit upset as well at the time because I didn't get, like, although I put all my energy, my time on radio, I wasn't just getting that appreciation from there. It's just one of those things, and I was like, buddy, this is what's going on. And I took a break off radio, and he said, "Yeah, tenu ki lod pe ye karan di." He said, "You've got your social media." He said, "All the youth is on social media. Why would you want to stay on radio and expect your age of generation would listen to you when they're all on social media?" And I would say he's the one kind of put that thing in my ear. Yaar, tera YouTube channel banaya hai. You've got your Instagram. Just go live.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where the concept of Trendsetters Instagram Live started, of having live audience on Instagram and watching a conversation amongst myself and a special guest artist. And I think that's how I got to know you as well. Yeah, absolutely.
So what year was that? Was that during lockdown? You did?
Yeah, during lockdown. Yeah, the Instagram Live sessions started in the first lockdown.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's where it all started from. And it just led to a different level. I'm like, first episode, Sukshindra Shinda, then Amrit Saab, and it just led to another level. Popsy, Aman Haya. I had Janjot Singh, the director and producer of Jal Mera Put, Punjabi film. Him and a few Punjabi actors. I had yourself, Arman Just Rates as well. We had him as well. And I would say I had a variation of artists.
You had some big artists. Do you know what I really remember? Sorry, I'm diverging here.
Yeah.
Jada Kavini si koi Punjab.
Oh, yes.
Pakistan da si or Punjab da si?
Pakistan da si. It was called Sahir Afzal, I think.
Yeah.
Sahir. Yeah. Afzal Sahir.
That was a brilliant interview. That was
very engaging. It was a very engaging conversation.
Yeah. Because I'm into all that. So I'm into all shairi and stuff and that. And it was very different. It was very refreshing to hear that.
Yeah. Huh? You know what it is? At some point I had this thing that, Tika, we got Punjabi music, everything. There's something beyond that where it's poetry, shairi, so I actually researched and got hold of some good shairi, even from Amritsar as well. I mean, I had Dr. Arvinder Singh as well. I mean, he's into theatre. And he does a lot of theatre work in Punjab, in Amritsar. I mean, he's a professor in Khalsa College in Amritsar. And he's into the theatre side of things, journalism side of things, shairi. And I think it was a point to, crossing the boundary where you've got UK Bhangra, you've got Punjabi music, you've got Punjabi cinema. I thought, let's go down to Pakistan as well. I mean, there's some talented people down there as well.
Oh, yeah, Pakistan, it's just full of talent. You know what? My Ustad, right? He's one of my Ustads. I don't learn from him now. He's from Pakistan. And what he said to me, he goes, India's got all the resources and stuff in it. In terms of talent. They've got the media, they've got Bollywood, they've got the Punjabi music industry. He goes, but Pakistan, he says, the problem there is there's a lot of more garibi. They haven't got the resources there.
Oh yeah.
So the only thing they've got is to put more mehnat in. So sometimes you see singers coming out, the top level singers like Rahat Fateh Ali Khan, and even these, they have to put a lot more effort in.
Yep. So, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what he was telling me anyway. I don't know how true it is.
It is true in a way, because I remember watching this interview of Abrar Haq, one of the top Punjabi artists of Pakistan ever, right? And I remember listening to one of his interviews, and he mentioned the fact that, although I think this was the time when he featured with Sukshindra Shinda on Gurdas Mann, the collaboration album.
What an album.
What an album it was. It was a historic album, I would say. I would say it was one of those albums where we had a variation of different artists in there. And I think it was from that time when he mentioned that, he said, at the moment, if we wanted to talk about Pakistan's Punjabi music, he says, jinni listenership sadi England che hai, unni jyada Punjab, India wali side te nahi hai. He said, because both countries are doing businesses together in England. This is kind of I would consider this place being, ek apna pind keh lo, in England, where you've got, Pakistan, you got India together, in one country. And he said that we've connected with the Punjabi audience outside in the Western world. But because, like you mentioned about the resources, it's absolutely true, because Pakistan's Punjabi music hasn't really, it's struggled. Even the film industry as well has struggled all their lives. Because although, if we look back in history, Bollywood's film industry was actually in Lahore.
Yeah, I know that, yeah. Dilip Kumar and everyone was there.
Prithvi Raj Kapoor and all that time. It was actually originating from Lahore, the industry.
even the Punjabi film industry really it originated in Pakistan, didn't it?
Pakistan,
because you had Noori Nath the Kisi Due da na.
It was an actor called
there's Noori Nath.
There was Mustafa Qureshi.
Yeah.
He used to do a lot of like the Yogaraj Singh style, Chadra Banke with Kumta and everything. That kind of kind of an atmosphere. I think, one of those characters, those actors, they were actually theatre actors. They actually had performed live in front of people as well. So that's where it all started from.
Yeah, and then Punjab copied them basically with Yogaraj and Kisi now the Google.
Yeah, absolutely. They're all inspired from Pakistan's film industry.
Exactly. There's I haven't seen this. Have you seen that film? There's Naukar Biwi Ka.
Oh yes, I've seen that many times.
That's actually taken from an old black and white Punjabi Pakistani film.
Yeah, absolutely.
Naukar Voti da.
Yeah.
But I've heard a lot about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Brilliant. But that's where the interest of radio started. Then Instagram lives, and they got to know. Like for yourselves as well. I got to know you personally. Via social media. Haje tak we haven't met personally face to face yet. आना जरूर नहीं आऊंगे जरूर आना जरूर है मैं.
Actually, I'm moving to Four Oaks. That's near Shindapaji as well. He lives in near Warsaw. No?
Yes, Walsall. That's where the place is.
Yeah. So I'm not going to be far from there next. So when you come next time, we'll all meet together.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, absolutely, definitely will. It would be great laughter. Shugul mazak we chalta rehta hai aapas ch,
Exactly.
So we need to keep that there. It'll be interesting to see you in person, though.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just so busy at the moment because the moving house. I'm expecting a baby in June.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic.
So I got that. I've got another gig coming on the 22nd of June.
Wow.
Doing a charity gig. It's just a really, really busy moment at the moment.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm glad the fact that you're doing a lot of the live music now. You formed your own band and everything. That needs to be there now, in your career.
Yeah, it's definitely. I don't want to talk much about my music. What the galla huni hundiya rehni ani. But we're just trying to get the music up and running.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So carrying on about your radio stuff. So after your community radio station, the one you did there, so you started Trendsetters. Did you do Trendsetters before Instagram? Was it just the YouTube section of it, or was it at the same time?
Actually, what it is, it actually started from Instagram. So what I was doing there was I was doing my lives on there, and it would actually the live session would store in Instagram TV. So I would download it from there, add the overlays, everything on there, then upload it on YouTube. So the people who have missed the live session, because look, I'll be very honest, I'm not some big established radio presenter, first of all, because there's many people above me who are in more, in the industry deeply compared to myself. So it was just a point, the fact that the whole scenario, the whole concept behind this was solely that the artists who don't really get as much appreciation or exposure in the mainstream media, I kind of use that concept that why don't I bring them down? Like, why don't I bring them forward and actually bring them on my YouTube channel and talk about their music? Because, I can list how many artists as much, but I don't see much of their exposure in the mainstream media. It could be two reasons. It could be pesa. Money is one of those things where, not many people can afford as much to pay radio stations or TV channels or sort of music video play or anything. People here are kind of like, funding themselves.
Well, I've got opinion on that, Raman, is that, as an artist, right, you can't. One thing when I had, when I did Nothing last year with the Ritz and stuff back in the day,
absolutely.
So you think that you in your mind you think that you got a structure. It was number one that was on Brit Asia for 3 weeks,
and
And you get this thing in your mind. But now, you know, success should come, but you don't realize like Sukshinder Shindapaji and a lot of other major artists, they graft hard.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, them people, if we look back to their collection of their music, you know, at that time it was a big deal that UK producer da koi gana Bollywood ch bajya. Like I remember many years ago, I remember there was a Hindi film of Anil Kapoor. It was his double role called Balandi.
I know that song.
Right? Exactly, right? That track, I think that kind of broken the barriers where you've got Sakshindra Shinda on the music and you've got Kumar Hira on the vocals and Anil Kapoor's lips in it.
Do you know, I didn't know Sakshindra Shinda did the music for it.
He did the music for that.
Wow, I did not know that.
I think that there was a time when... I think in the album I see where had Lal Chude Wari, that song.
That's one of my favorite songs.
I know it's one of those songs where he's never gonna die. You know, that song is always gonna remain, you know, all-time favorite. And I think it's from that era. And I mean, also time I think he did an album with Balwinder Safri. There was an album there at that time. I think this was year 2000. I think 2000 in Galaya.
Was that the one? Was that album?
Was इसका गाना उन्होंने किया सगा कदी पुछ मित्रा दा हाल कुड़े.
कदी पुछ मित्रा दा हाल कुड़े. Yeah, I remember that song. Yeah.
Now the album was a super duper hit at that time as well. I mean, hard copy CDs बिकदियां सी, cassettes. I mean, that you could imagine that time people would be buying albums and cassettes. उस time केड़ा iTunes सगा. You know, there was no digital platforms back then. And they've grafted a lot. If you look back from the start of their career to now, you can tell why that artists in India actually want to work with them. You know, even till now. I mean, I remember I was having this conversation with Baji as well, and even now, when you actually ask him about his music or anything, right? He said, "Yeah, I see the time pyasi kar rahe hain." He's like so humble. Like he's not one of those characters where you would presume that he's a massive producer and he's not going to work with no one kind of thing. He always picks out the artists. Jire sorche gande. Even same like if we look to like people like Deepak Khazanji or people like Baldev Mastana, all them eras producers as well. They've picked out Sarile Bande. And I think that's why we consider them, you know, legends, because they're, you know, selecting artists, selecting the good writers, lyrics as well. There's a massive role in the whole song itself is the lyrics. You know, so I think they've grafted, as he said, they've grafted years, man.
And that's what I was saying, like in terms of like today, when you know, trying to get radio plays and stuff, and it's the same with like your radio journey as well. It's like you do it yourself, you graft. If you can't make it one way, you find another way.
Oh yeah. Look, I've had that kind of situations when I was on the radio. I mean, I'm not going to hesitate in mentioning this in this podcast. Is that I've had situations where artists have turned me down just because I'm not established. I've had an artist saying to me on my face that, you know, they booked a slot with me and they cancelled it a day before.
That's weak.
And there's one specific artist who did that, who when aap hi minu email ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀਗੀ the press release. He corresponded with me that, Paji, please give me an interview, this and that. He was begging for an interview. I would use begging because it did sound like he's wanting exposure. I booked a slot with him. मैं कहता हूँ, this Sunday I haven't got nothing going on. Let's do this Sunday. Book हो गया. Right? I'll do an hour slot with you. कोई चक्कर नहीं. जे वाद भी हो गया, I'm not bothered. I just want content. Right? He booked it, everything. I'm ringing him. I'm messaging him. Doesn't reply. And I'm there on the mic waiting for him to get him live on the show.
Wow.
And he turned me down on the actual day.
That's crazy. Did he obviously not mentioning any names, did he have the decency to tell you why on the day? Or
no, he wasn't picking his phones up after that. Even I texted him, WhatsApped him, tried to call him, he didn't pick my call up. And I thought, if that's the case, that's a full stop for me then.
But then pata laga ke you know, he's that's why he's rejected you because you're not big enough. So
I found out I actually got in touch with the press company, the PR company who was managing that soundtrack.
Okay, I've got yeah.
And ਉੱਥੋਂ ਫਿਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਚੱਲਣਾ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਚਲੋ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਸਾਡੀ ਵੀ ਕਿਸਮਤ ਜਾਗੂਗੀ ਕੋਈ this was like the beginning stages ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ not a problem you know because like I said end of the day I would consider I've attached to certain people who actually have positive natures another behavior friendly they've got this kind of they haven't got that fakeness and I've been lucky in that side of thing.
Exactly. No, I think so. I mean, all the interviews you've done and the ones I've listened to, they've been great. And sort of, for me, like one positive thing that was interview you, we got on well. And any artist I work with now, even I'm working with some producers from Canada and stuff as well at the moment. So the one thing I always look out for in people that I work with is that, do you get on? What's
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the main thing, and that's what I sort of and we've become friends, haven't we? Because of
absolutely, that, man, absolutely. I think that is key because you know at the moment, I mean, if we were talking about the industry here, there's not much exposure for the artists within this territory. You're seeing PR companies, you're seeing radio stations, you're seeing TV channels. They're just playlisting artists what are just established from India. I don't see much content being supported in the UK. What gets produced here, artists here as well. It's just a bit of a downfall, and it's kind of disheartening because end of the day, everyone talks about 90s era. It was the best era of music, this and that, but we can make that era now.
Yeah, no, 100%, bro. I agree with you. Just so just based on the subject of what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I've got two opinions on this, and you correct me because you've worked in radio stations. So my opinion is this: so the radio station, they have, correct me if I'm wrong, they have certain playlists. So they have playlist A, you know, that's the top 30 songs. Then they have like just I'm giving an example. Then the next 20 songs, the playlist B with the play more. So they only have a limited amount of time to play. So they're going to play the most popular songs. Is that correct?
Especially if we were talking about the mainstream radio stations.
Yeah,
because the community radio stations still they don't actually. I mean, the radio station I was at, they didn't have any form of like Group A, Group B, Group C, or any kind of that kind of thing playlisted. It was they just had a playlist of a collection of songs in their server. You can pick out and play. Someone requests it, you can stream that on digital platforms because we had a license that we can broadcast it on public radio. And so it wasn't actually a thing where it was all the fact that it's a community radio station. It's about entertaining the listeners.
Yeah,
it wasn't really a boundary or any form of playlisting that ਇਹ ਠੀਕ ਠਾਕ ਆ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਸੀ playlist ਲਾ ਦੋ ਇਹ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ top ਗਾਣਾ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਇਹ list ਲਾ ਦੋ kind of thing.
So that wasn't there.
It wasn't there on our side, but yeah, I've heard the fact that in mainstream radio stations it's like that, where they put you on a slot where they're going to put you in like a playlist where, for example, drive time shows, they would actually broadcast music which is the top-notch soundtracks. People like Dalit Dosanjh, Ranjit Bawa, or Guru Randhawa, or any other Bollywood artist, they would automatically put that on an A playlist because that's where they're going to get more exposure. Again, there you scratch my back, I scratch yours, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Kind of that kind of a thing. So yeah, I mean, what you've mentioned, it exists in the mainstream radio stations.
Because I'm talking about sort of like BBC Asian Network. I know they have that.
That platform.
And they play. So I'm going to ask you a bit of a controversial question here. Now you don't have to delve in it, but right. So PRS, and because I'm asking because I don't know this question. So PRS, how do you like BBC Asian Network, like the biggest? They'll pay you PRS.
Yeah.
Okay, two questions. So, do the community stations pay PRS, and if they don't, how do they get around it?
So the thing with community radio stations is they don't pay for PRS because it's not registered. You have to register your radio station for that. So what happens is that the whole scenario from that is that whatever artist is actually their song or the producer of that song has registered to PRS. If you play one of their tracks on the radio, that radio play fee is going to go to them as you say, royalty. That's exactly what a royalty is. Where, because I've had multiple, established singers asking me this as well about PRS. Okay, we heard that all from radio players we can't make money, but as we come across a lot of producers, they worked with artists like Lembar Hussain Puri, Kaka Peniawala, all them artists were originating from India. Now, a lot of the India artists, they don't actually realize that once you've actually given all your rights to a producer or a record label, you don't hold no rights.
Absolutely, yeah.
You don't actually hold any financial rights. That anyone plays the song, you'll get a royalty. You're not going to get that because you've given your content. You signed an agreement that now it belongs to a producer. And also record labels. I mean, if you look back when, record labels like, Movie Box or Kiss Records or Roma Hundisi before, all them, record labels existed, they all hold the rights of all them songs. Even the albums.
Yep.
So, ajdi date, if a person like an artist like, say, Lembar, for example, would turn around and say that, I need my rights in there as well. I need revenue from there. But sorry to say, you can't get no royalties. Because you've given away your song, your content.
That happened to me, buddy. It was the first when I was going to come back into music just before lockdown.
Yeah.
So I was going to work with someone, and they wanted me to sign the label. Wanted to give my tracks. I've written the song, so they wanted to just give my rights over to that thing, and I've got and on top of that, me just not in it. This is sort of put money towards the video and stuff as well. So
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Did that हमेशा मैं कहता कि जिदा वंड के रोटी खानी चाहिए नहीं है ना?
Oh yeah, look, I've always believed that क्योंकि देखो, end of the day, the present situation of the music industry now it isn't gonna work with one individual banda.
No,
it's a matter of teamwork. I mean, some people have that blessing where they have control on everything in terms of their like recording their vocals, producing their song, doing the artwork for it, or doing the promotion for it. Things have gone very easy now in the sense of you got social media as your main base where you can put your music out there, you can put all your publicity out there. You've got control in your marketing. Because that's your own kind of. I mean, if we look at the Western singers as well, I mean, I've been listening to a lot of Western artists as well who are into like new age music, new age folk music as well, and I've noticed that their social media is so up to date in terms musically that they don't actually need anyone to promote their music for. They don't actually need to appoint someone in behalf of them to actually promote their music, because the way they've done their, set it up their Instagram pages and the way they've put their posts out and everything, that itself kind of attracts people like to know them more. Because I've come across certain artists where their social media, they post, whatever they put out, they're so well organized. So well organized that you can tell that this guy or this woman knows what she's doing or what he's doing.
Exactly, yeah. The other thing I do, it's about mentioning that, like, so I'm still learning about the social, the marketing part of it. I try to, and I know other artists don't do that. So this is my preference. I try to spread my content out as much as possible.
Yeah,
because then you got like, say, how everyone releases, like, say you release a song next week and you've released the song, the video, everything in one go.
Yeah.
For content, you don't get that continuous spread and the engagement.
I always say that, like, especially when I am on the phone calls with like any artist from India as well, who they get in touch with me, Paji, ਸਾਡੇ poster design karna hai, cover design karna, this karna, right, for a new song. I always ask them the question, I always say, Paji, ਤੁਸੀਂ poster design ਕਰਵਾ ਰਹੇ हैं, that's good, not a problem, I can do that. But I said that I'm not going to support your music if you're not going to be supporting yourself. Because there's artists out there who actually, it's very strange. Gana hona da, music video da di, poster bhi hona da, but they're not going to ever put a like button or comment if someone's shared that content and tagged them. I've come across many artists like that where they haven't actually, acknowledged the fact someone shared their content.
I think that's an old school thing. I think it's an old school thing, isn't it? Because like basically the old school way used to be like, you have a label and the label does all that for you. Or you release a song, sit back, and that's what I thought. Remember I was telling you about the other last year. So that's but I've had to learn. I think no, it's not. You're taking your listener for granted.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're taking your listeners, your fans, the people you're taking for granted. You can't take anyone for granted, and it's a bit like customer service, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, the funniest thing is that they tell you, right? I get inboxed by various artists, Paji, any tareek nu main gana aa raha, apni story te la do ya post it or something. Tag kar deo, jarur tag kar deo window, right? I tag them, I post them, but they don't even press the like button. I'm like thinking, you're wanting me to support your music, but it doesn't sound like you're supporting your own music here. It's bizarre. I mean, it's bizarre. So this, in a sense, there's some artists out there who actually work like that. But if you think logically, like if you're expecting to generate revenue from your music, promotion to karni paini hai.
Yeah.
To bagaye nahi gaddi chalni.
100%.
Ek poster pa ke, you're expecting you're going to get 100 million people noticing that and wanting to become your fans and followers on Insta, when that's not going to happen. Because like you said, if you're going to put your song and music video out there and you're not going to even market it in advance, get in and doing the hoo-ha and the big marketing, you can't expect you're going to gain anything from that.
No, 100%. And now you've got stuff like TikTok, which is just, I don't even think the music industry has picked up on it yet properly. Some artists have.
Some artists have. Some artists have, in a sense where, what now there's a trend of having Instagram reels. You have models dancing on your song, or they're doing like an act or something in front of the camera, and they would use that as a form of promotion.
It's massive, like TikTok.
Massive.
I'm just exploring it myself at the moment.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, it's absolutely massive. I remember my new song that I've got coming up in a few weeks. That's going to be based. The whole thing's going to be based on Reels and Instagram.
Fantastic.
So, but karna penda nahi.
Well, see the tayari khichu. We're always waiting for your music. Yeah, I'm always looking forward to what you bring.
Yeah, and the thing is, bro, with the social, I hate social media. Believe it or not, I'm not a fan of it because I think I'm from the old school generation where you just release some stuff but you have to do it.
You have to do it, yeah.
You have to do it.
The thing is, like at the moment with the content what gets put on social media, like there's certain social media pages I actually focus on is Instagram, and I've started to focus on Twitter now. Facebook to thoda ja main mood off ho raha because it's just getting too negative now on there, like in terms of the news portals on there. Even you don't even watch them news portals, it just pops up on your suggestions.
Yeah,
like you just come across the news and you like thinking, oh man, like is this what the world is? It's like, come on, like we need to have some positive things going on social media. It's like it's already people got their own personal stress. People have got their own personal problems.
And
you put something on there where you just kind of brings the person's positive vibes down.
Yeah, but it's. I mean, even though Facebook's not as popular, I mean, I don't use Facebook as much as TikTok or kicking the Instagram.
Yeah,
I'm the same as you, but it's still massive, isn't it? Facebook.
Oh yeah, it's still massive. I mean, end of the day, when you look at certain news portals or blogs or anything, Facebook is also a big market on there. There's a massive market on there.
Oh, really interesting. Really interesting conversation so far with you. So I'm not going to keep you that much longer. Or otherwise, remember our interview last time? I think we were an hour and a half.
We kind of broke the record there.
So anyway, I'm going to move on from that bit. So,
Yeah.
really interestingly now, this is amazing me. How did you transition from doing radio and your graphics and stuff to producing music?
Oh, so how's that happen? Now, you know what it is? Whenever I used to do interviews on Instagram or radio, I always used to have this habit of media right? Especially when they're interviewing someone, they talk over them, right? But maybe other that I always listen in depth of what he's saying, what he or she's saying, then question them. I used to listen to them very deeply, and I've interviewed from struggling artists. Sorry to say, I don't want to say struggling, but ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ career ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤੀ career, right?
Emerging.
Emerging, yeah, that's the word. Emerging artists like established artists, right? I've gone through various phases of different artists and I've listened to them, right? Now, the thing with me is I have a lot of ideas. I always think in mind, like, something idea that, I think that concept could work for this artist, right? And whatever ideas I would come up with, they would turn around and say to me, "Oh, pata nahi chalna, ye nahi chalna, paji ke na gal nahi banni," right? And I was like, "Okay, going on." Then I don't know what happened in my mind. This was last year, around about September, October time. Made the mark yaar, how does music get made? Nice. I mean, although I've been a tabla player from childhood days, and I'd never had the opportunity. The fact that how does music get made? How does it get made, right? So I thought, let's take it as a challenge then, right? Then what happened was that I touched base with an artist in Mumbai, who's actually a massive follower. I mean, those who are listening, they would know this artist. I'm specifically naming by Harjinder Singh Srinagar Wale. He's very famously known for his Shabad Kirtan from 80s to now, and people see him as a legendary person, when it comes to Gurbani Kirtan and stuff. And I was actually I commented on one of his videos on his Facebook, and this is how I got to know this artist, Dr. Dia Rahida from Mumbai, and she's from a Sindhi family, and she comes from a background who follow Guru Nanak Dev Ji quite strongly.
Wow!
Right, and what it was that she started, messaging me via there. She liked my comments, this and that. And at random, she actually messaged me and said that, Paji, the thing is that, I've got this composition, which my mum made. And my mum was going to record this, but unfortunately she passed away before recording that, and it was already pre-planned that it was going to get released on T series.
Wow!
It was going to get released on T series label, and she was like, "I've got it ready." She made a composition, but sadly she passed away, and gal nahi bani. And she sent me a voice note, and I was like blown away when I heard her voice.
No, she has got.
She's got a very
lovely voice.
Yeah, she's like one of those voices where you would automatically listen to people like Anuradha Paudwal, Kavita Krishnamurti, the 90s, Alka Yagnik, that kind of level.
You can hear the classical bass though.
Oh yeah,
you can hear the classical bass. You can hear it.
Oh yeah, you can hear it, and and I said, "Mika Dr. Savid Dagaro, why don't you sing this?" And she was like, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "You can sing." So she recorded it. She sent me her vocals. I played around. I played with my tabla, beat boot taj koi banai. I got the piano player, a local Gyani from here. Because I didn't have the sources. I'll be very honest, right? Although I was connected with yourselves, and other producers, but kadi na banda sochda yaar ke banda, I come across artists, taking the time out for me to get interviewed. I don't want to misuse their service.
Mm-hmm.
ਮੇਰੀ nature ਹੀ ਏਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਹੈ.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Right? I don't want to take them for granted. ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਮੈਂ free ਤੋਂ ਹੀ ਚੱਕ ਕੇ ਮੈਂ ghost producer ਕਰਾ ਦਵਾਂ ਮੈਂ. Right? I thought ਯਾਰ ਮਾਲਕ ਕੋਈ ਮੈਨੂੰ hint ਦੇ ਰਿਹਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਤੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਕਰ ਹੁਣ. Right? And I thought ਚਲੋ experiment ਮੰਗ ਲੈ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਆਪਾਂ. And played the tabla, piano ਮੈਂ ਇੱਥੇ local ਬਜਾ ਲਿਆ ਗਿਆਨੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਤੋਂ. ਤੇ ਕੀਤਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਯਾਰ ਤੂੰ ਚੰਗਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੇਰੇ ਤੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਮਾਇਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੈਣੀ. we're not going to get money off you. you know ਤੂੰ ਕਰ. Right? ਕੀਤਾ ਪਿਆਨੋ play ਕਰਵਾਇਆ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਕਰਾਇਆ. ਅੱਛਾ at that time I was in my office and I had this Afro-Caribbean guy come in in my office in reception. And he was
at your workplace. This was
at my workplace. Yeah, this was at my workplace. And he came with some artwork, and he needed a couple of prints, poster prints. He had a gig going on, and he needed some prints doing. I had my cover art on because I've got 2 screens on my table. So one screen's my emails opened on there. One I've got Photoshop open on there. I had my artwork on the screen, and he said, "Oh, Mr. Singh, that looks good. What are you designing?" I said, I'm working on a soundtrack. And it's just the cover art for that I'm working on. And he's like, interesting. He said, so you make music? I said, I don't make music, but I'm trying to attempt to make music, right? Right? And I said, what makes you ask me that? And he said, the thing is, he says, I make music. I said, okay. I said, so I asked more questions to him, everything. He said, I don't actually make it myself, but I do mix and mastering.
Wow.
And I said, that's interesting. And he told me that he's basically a university student. He's doing music as his degree, mixing, mastering, sound engineering, that's what he's doing as his degree. And he set up a small little den in his house as a studio with all his mixes and stuff. He said, who's doing the mix and mastering for you? I said, I'm looking for someone to do that. And he said, if you don't mind, can I do it?
Wow.
I said, okay. I'm like thinking, okay, मैं बड़ा सोची पै गया कि यार आ की हो गया. Right? And I said, the thing is, I'm self-funding myself. I haven't got no money. Give someone. He said, I'm not going to charge you.
Wow.
Then he asked me, what's the concept behind this? I said, well, it's a devotional track. And I told him that, it was written by Guru Arjan Dev Ji. This is the soundtrack. This is the definition, this translation. I printed it out for him. Because Punjabi, I gave him the Romanized version of it and the translations. He took it with him. On the same day, on the night, I arrived home. He said to me, Mr. Singh, I've just read your the lyrics. He said that I did say to you earlier on that I'm not going to charge you. He said, no, I'm definitely not going to charge you. Right? I'm definitely not going to charge you, right? And I thought, my gosh, like, kitte gal pahunch gayi. And I'm like thinking, na eh bande nu main bulaya. I didn't advertise my business to him. He just knocked on my door and came and get some prints done. But he took on a project which he mixed and mastered.
Wow.
Right? And I think that itself kind of brought this thing in my head. There's something behind this.
Haussla ho janda bande nu
Haussla ho janda. Yeah. Haussla ho janda. Yeah. I took it in a very spiritual way because I thought, ek pair te there's someone popping up who wants to be part of this project.
I can see why. I can see exactly why.
Right. So then, as we were mentioning earlier, it was like self-promotion and everything. Acha, talent milya as a graphic designer. Poster banaye, beshumar poster banaye, and then suddenly I get the PR company saying, Raman, we want to be part of you. I said, are you serious? And I was like, I said, paise na mangyo ehi hai gal kyunki mere ko paisa nahi hai ji. I said, I have got like, thousands of pounds to give you to do PR for. And no, she said, no, we will do it free of charge. You're helping us in the industry. Why do you think we're going to charge you?
That's amazing.
And this, then we decided that we'd release it on Diwali. It's a celebration. I thought, chalo, bahana ek mil gaya to release it on Diwali. And I think then that kind of continued. I thought, let's just keep on going on. Jinni ke sade ko hegi himmat kari jao. Yeah, so I think that's where the music thing started, and then the Honsla happened, where you've got artists wanting to send out best wishes videos and this like that, and we can Honsla mil gaya. Because I'll be very honest, who are listening, I haven't even managed to actually meet any of the artists in person who I've interviewed. Only one person I've met in person so far is Sakshindra Chindapaji, and that was due to the fact he was going to perform down in Bradford. And he came to someone's house in Leeds, and he rang me the night before. Leeds, you have to come and see me. I think that's the first time in my life I met Sakshindra Chinda. And plus, because I'm out of Midlands, Dami Galbardini, and because everyone's sat in the Midlands, I'm sat in Leeds. So that's where the interest started from music. You just kind of, I just consider it Achanaki plan ban gaya.
No, that's amazing, and sort of really proud of you, bro. That you've done it. This is because company.
When I actually did that, I thought, although it's a Gurbani song track, it's not a massive mainstream Bhangra track or whatever. But it kind of, I kind of learned the fact that what producers do for this industry isn't a small thing.
No.
Time kadana.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
Time kadana, spending hours on getting the right sound you're looking for. Many things are involved in this, and we as an audience just know how to dance on the song. We don't realize
dance and criticize the songs in it.
That's all we do. That's part of our community, man. That's part of it. It's like one of those things, ब्याह शादियां च ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ ਮਾਈ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ ਇੱਕ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਉਹ ਸਿਰੇ ਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਅੱਗ ਲਾ ਲਓ. In the background, there's always someone or another who wants to cause a bit of troubles. But yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? You can't really, I would say, you can't really please anyone. Har ek bande da apna taste hai music da. Someone likes listening to hardcore Bhangra. They see, some people like listening to hip hop. Jira banda listens to reggae music, ain't gonna like folk music.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of taste, really.
Yeah. No, but that's what I liked about your music, bro. But like you see, it's you.
That's it, yeah.
Because from what I've known from you, like all the new age music you listen to as well, and you sent me a few songs as well. I can see all that in there.
I remember sending you an instrumental by Yanni.
Yes.
Yanni, those who know, who have listened, I mean, that guy, he performs live on stage. He's got a massive orchestra, right? And the places he's performed, you won't imagine, right, on the levels he's performed. It's just the sounds he's created.
Yeah.
Just the instruments, the whole feel. You can actually engage to it as much as long you want. It's something what you never would forward or stop listening to. It's just one of those things what he's created. So I think that was one inspiration I got from there.
You can see that, as I said to you, you can see it.
With the piano. Yeah, ਮੈਂ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਹੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ, ਨਹੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਸੀਨੀਅਰ ਆ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਸਤਾਦ ਬੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲੋਂ.
No, do you know what it is? Like to the point where you see, I'm a firm believer. You got to do you. Don't try to be someone else. I mean, there's so many artists. This is if anyone's listening to this podcast, I don't know if anyone is, but
they will. I'm sure they will, because it's such a layer, right? It's true talk. Like you said, being yourself, right? Yeah. I've come across. I remember this is one thing I can mention. Experience. This was like a very interesting experience I had in my radio career. This was when I interviewed Jazzy B. Now, Jazzy B, as everyone knows, one of the finest artists in the industry.
Legend.
A trendsetter. Actual trendsetter, fashionably, with his funky hairstyles, his gold and his kanda, everything, about his dressing sense. There's something about him, right? And ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮੌਕਾ ਮਿਲਿਆ to interview him on the radio. This was the first time I interviewed him, and it was through one of his fans.
Wow.
Like ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਦੱਸੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੈਸੇ, the inside, but it was actually through a fan. I actually got his interview.
Wow.
And that fan, he is a proper diehard fan of Jazzy B, and he actually dresses up like him. Like with the hairstyle. ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ Jazzy B changes his hairstyle, he's the first person to go to the barbers to get the hairstyle done.
ਇਹ ਪੰਜਾਬ 'ਚ ਆਮ ਗੱਲ ਆ
ਆਮ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਆਮ
ਪੰਜਾਬ 'ਚ ਤਾਂ ਆਮ ਗੱਲ ਆ
exactly right. The dressing, the kapda, his beard style, his hair, you know, mundiyan pauniyan, and actually, and since Jazzy B's wearing his circular khanda, you know, pendant, all his fans have got that. Bame ho nakli sona hove, right? Even his fake sona, right? Even his not even real gold, right? They're still wearing it because they want to be him, right?
Wow.
So I got an interview through his fans. Galbat hui with Jazzy Paji's manager. Interview set hui, everything. Now I was dead. Like I mean, that was one artist I was proper nervous. I was proper nervous. I was thinking.
You would be, isn't it?
I was like, okay, it's hard. I thought, yeah, is this really going to happen? Right? And I was like, ਇਹ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਂ ਸਟੂਡੀਓ 'ਚ ਉਹ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਫੋਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਕਹਿ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਜੀ ਫਿਰ ਕਰੀ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਭਾਜੀ ਹੁਣੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਿਜ਼ੀ I was like really worried. And I got there, ਮੈਂ ਫੋਨ ਕੀਤਾ to the manager, ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਭਾਜੀ ਮੈਂ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਕੁ ਵਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਲਾਈਵ ਹੋਈਏ, because it was a live interview. It wasn't going to be pre-recorded, and this was for his track Jatta Da Flag, what he did with True School. Corby. All this silsilate is an interview, and Jazzy Buddy then called me back from a different number, and Galwat Hoy, and you know his style of talking, you know, he's very you know, casual banda, you know, hor kida bhai theek thaak, like you know. I was like, yeah, I was pretty friendly, right? And when the poster I put out that Jazzy B is coming on my radio show for an interview, I don't know how many phone calls and text messages I got. Because everyone thought he's coming in the studio, but at the time he was in India. Everyone were feeling, you know, thinking he's going to come in the studio. Raman Paji ne live hona hai, you know, on Facebook camera laga hoga. Jazzy Paji is going to be sat next to him doing, you know, getting interviewed. Everyone was damn excited, and I was thinking, "Hone interview di gal hoyi, or hone pata chalda hai that I'm actually interviewing someone now." And that experience was very, very shocking. That I interact with a lot of his fans who actually imitate him, and I was like surprised that ik artist, you know, who doesn't like many people don't know him on a personal level. We just know him as an artist, a public figure. He's a Punjabi singer. He's one of those artists where every show promoter leaves him on the last point of a concert. Because that's when there's going to be a massive blast on stage.
He's the main event.
Exactly, right? And I came across a lot of his, you know, Qattar fans, as he titles them, who are deeply like fans with them. And I was surprised that ek bande da influence kinna penda bande de utte, that they want to look like him, they want to have an hairstyle like him, they're dying to buy a gold khanda to put around their neck, you know, they want to wear his coin rings, you know. I was surprised that one artist is like kind of interacts with the youth. I was surprised. I was like thinking, you know, the amount of people I got messages from at that point, I was shocked. I was actually shocked at how one artist gets so much influenced. You know, how people influence from certain artists. In that, though, I haven't seen anyone being a copy of Gurdas Man or Hansraj Hans as much I've seen Jazzy B.
No, he was really big on that, wasn't he, as well? Because I heard some of his interviews before, and he was like very much like, you know, his image is a lot, you know, his whole persona.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's very big on it. And he's successful, and deservedly so. You know, he knows what he's doing.
Well, I mean, to be honest, you could consider him a one in a million artist, because you haven't actually come across. I mean, although, you know, back in the 90s era, you see Binda Jatt as well, Californian King. You know, point, both of the artists used to have dreadlocks or curly hair, and they had a similarity in their voices solely because they're followers of Kuldeep Manak.
I think Jazzy, remember when he first started, he had a Vanilla Ice style hairstyle. Do you remember?
Oh yeah. I remember
like
that.
Vanilla Ice sort of thing.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I mean, that's where the whole concept of folk and funky started from as well.
That's the idea, yeah. And his song was it London Patola?
London Patola, London Patola ho gaya. Then ek ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਸੀਗਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਦਾ ਮੁਕੱਦਮਾ, something like that.
Was that the sad song?
There was a sad song as well. I think he did a couple of sad songs at that point.
Yeah.
He used to be there because I think a lot of his cassettes used to have a different, flavor in every song.
Although Zamana bhi idda da si ne ke you have to have a sad song in your album.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because ਕਈਆਂ ਦੇ ਆਸ਼ਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਦਿਲ ਵੀ ਟੁੱਟੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨਾ.
Yeah, those are good times anyway.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I'm just going to move on because I think it's been an hour already. Do you know that?
Record torta fe dobara.
Torta. So, what do you think about the music scene now? I mean, the UK Bhangra scene we want to talk about in particular. How can we revive it, and what can we do? And because you've got a lot of experience in this from all your interviewing, and now you're producing.
Yeah, to be honest, it's good you've asked me this question because I was actually looking forward to this question actually because I've noticed a lot when I speak to producers to like singers that I've spoken to various people in the industry down here, and they always have one complaint. Mm-hmm. There's always one complaint I hear is that we're getting overlooked. Mm-hmm. We're there, but we're just getting overlooked. Mm-hmm. And the reason why overlooking is happening is the fact that a lot of the media what it is now at the moment is that the industry has mixed in. Like you're seeing producers in the UK working with vocalists from India. Mm-hmm. And it hasn't been going on now at present. It's been going on since 2006, mm-hmm. I would say before that because Lembar Husainpuri from India, Kaka Paniwala from India, you've got Miss Pooja from India, mm-hmm. right? You've got Angrej Ali from India, you got Geeta Zelda from India. All these people are India-born artists. Producers in the UK, I mean, I don't blame them. The established artists, I would say the established producers, they always say, Sanu koi gayak nahi labda England ch. We can't see no artists down here. Mm-hmm. So we use artists from India. Mm-hmm. And they're also adding to that because India artists have got a massive portfolio in the sense of following.
Yep.
Most like their concerts are sellouts when they perform in the UK or Canada or America, mm-hmm. solely because baale jehde bande baithe or Punjabi listeners want to see them. It could be Diljit Dosanjh, it could be Kanwar Garewal, it could be Gurdas Maan, it could be any other established artist. They want to see them. Mm-hmm. And when it comes down to the UK music scene presently, mm-hmm. to be honest, I am seeing that, artists are coming out from here. They are coming out with music. Producers are coming out. I mean, like, for example, yourself, Just Rit Soge. There's other various artists who are slowly coming back and actually bringing some music now. When it comes out to reviving it, the only way this industry can revive is that we get an equal balance in media. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's I think it's just like, in my opinion, there's two parts of it, isn't it? There's two parts to it, yeah. There's like the focus group of it, like in music, there's like a focused music, people who still love 90s Bhangra and people will appreciate that. To make it mainstream, right? I think Canada's probably if you look at Canada right now, they know how to target the mainstream.
Absolutely.
Because
absolutely.
what's happened there, just say you and I, we're like first, second generation Indians,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So that's why from the I think in the 80s and 90s they were making the music, and the 90s were sort of the Bhangra music that was coming here, all the DJs and all the producers. That because we were in touch with the West and the Desi side of it, But we got stagnant. This is just my opinion. I can't prove this, but I feel we've got stagnant and we haven't moved with the times.
We haven't. I agree with that. I 100% agree with that, because like you mentioned in Canada has always had a culture.
Yeah.
Culture in a sense that dressing sense.
Yeah.
The lifestyle, that street look.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And this is how we got people like Jazzy B in the industry, where he had a different dressing sense.
Mm-hmm.
He had that whole Canadian vibe of, here you would come across a UK artist who's more familiar with football.
Yeah.
He was more familiar with ice hockey.
Mm-hmm.
It was like one of those games in that country which is considered to be a national game.
Yeah.
Jello Horn, he's become a Liverpool supporter now, right? As we see that on his social media.
Yeah.
But ice hockey does that, right? But even now, when you're seeing artists like who come out from Canada, like for instance, G Sidhu, for example, he set his own standard of his music, right? When you look at his videos, it's just, you know what it is? It's just a point of the locations.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people in England like that street look, the vests, the baggy jumpers, which now we see the songs wearing nowadays, wearing baggy, oversized kapde. It's kind of become like thing that we like that kind of culture. Where in England at the moment, what we're seeing is that we're just not able to actually move on. As you said, we're not moving on with time. Like, there's not that kind of progression thing.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I was going to say, like, sort of Canada at the moment, because they've got, the music producers and everyone, they're a lot younger there.
Yeah.
So they, and you know what you were saying about singers? They do push their own singers.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
They take the risk. They take the chance. Like, I'm working with Canadian producers now, bro. They and the enthusiasm they've got, the garage. I can't wait to do this, and they keep constantly sending me beats, but you don't get that from the UK that much.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, what it is, I mean, at the start of my radio stuff, I came across certain artists who are stuck in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
They're stuck in the 90s in the sense that they're trying to bring out 90s artists, which, for me, no disrespects, but they've done their days. They've done their music. You can't imagine that you bring out a 90s artist now and presume that the generation now is going to listen to them.
No, 100%.
Because the era now is completely different. The music sense, the taste is different. People now adapt to more of that, it's sad, which it shouldn't have happened in the first place. But this thing about having this gun culture, this gangster kind of look where you got long coats or you're wearing bomber jackets and you're on the street with a group of boys,
with a bottle.
With bottles, yeah, right? And I think in some people's mind, they class that to be cool.
Yeah. But you know what it is? This is a great point you made here, Raman, was that, see, I don't know why this is in the UK and the Bhangra industry in general. We only pick up trends which are sort of, they, how can I put this in a we only pick up trends that are sort of so let me give you an example. Like, you got the hip hop genre, we've picked up that, but music is not just hip hop.
It isn't. Especially when it comes down to Punjabi music.
Exactly. It's not just hip hop, but we haven't tapped into other cultures. Like, the thing with the UK back in the day, we went into hip hop, we went to reggae, we went to garage.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what was good about it. But now we've almost like we stuck to that 90s sound and we haven't moved on. We've got like I'm trying to tap into the rock scene myself.
Wow. Well, I mean, that's look, end of the day, when we look back at the 90s, right? 90s, I think the 90s era, agar main us era di gal karan, that was way beyond India's market. Because you've got people like the Sahotas doing reggae.
Favorites.
You've got Apache Indian doing reggae. You've got Stereo Nation, God bless his soul, right? You had him who took music to Bollywood films.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got Bali Saggu. And look at the vibe he brought in his music. And that took off on a different level. Then you've got Dr. Zeus, who I would say, if I was to say that who brought garage music to Bhangra music, it was Dr. Zeus.
Mm-hmm.
That guy brought a different vibe into Punjabi music here solely because I think he was ahead in the game in the sense that he knew what the generation wants.
But that's not happening anymore in the UK.
And that's not happening now. Yeah, it's not happening. And that's why, and this is the reason why we need to put a full stop of always having, we want to bring 90s music back. But the question is, 90s music thanu pasand hai? You need to talk about the people who are now. Do they want to 90s?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm all in the favor, because if you've got a micro audience and you want to please that audience, that's fair enough. If you just want to, because there's still people who listen to that and are fans of it, and you can target them, but that's not going to go main. You can't expect that to go mainstream.
Oh, never. You can try as much. I mean, look, if you look back to that era, you had people like Salinder Pradesi, the Pradesi band, performing at Glastonbury.
Mm-hmm.
Who do we see now? No one.
No one.
Right? You see, do you remember them boys, DIP?
Yeah. I know them.
Boys, they performed on Top of the Pops once.
Mm-hmm.
I think Malkeet Singh also performed on Top of the Pops. Sahotas had performed on Sailor Black's Surprise.
Sahotas won. They won everything. They won Generation Game. They won Surprise. They won multiple programs.
Absolutely, and they took UK's Bhangra music to the Western audience.
Mm-hmm.
But now, although innate technology, all that social media, everything, I just don't know why Bhangra music now isn't getting heard by the Western people as they used to listen then.
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't the artist now taking that music to places like, I want to mention Eurovision.
Mm-hmm.
Now look at that platform. You've got all the countries in Europe on that one stage representing their country of the top artist of their nation, right? Mm-hmm. We don't see UK in the sense of like, if we were to do something like this, I don't know how it's going to work. Because at the moment, the industry, how it's working here, is primarily more focused on the Punjab singers. I'll be very straightforward. Even the media companies, they're giving more priorities to them.
Mm-hmm. But because, as I was saying, do you think that's because, like, it's because they're mainstream at the moment, whereas,
they're mainstream. Look, end of the day, Jira Banda, who's a singer, who's become a film actor, would and then you got the other side, you got an artist here who's just doing singles. The media is obviously going to pick the person who's become a film actor.
Exactly, yeah. So I haven't got no qualms on that. Like me as an artist, like from myself and yourself as an artist, and I just think we got to keep doing what we're doing. But moving at the same time, you know how your music is like moving with the times as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, to be honest, it's always good to do sequels of soundtracks, but like there's certain artists that they're coming out with like so and so song part 2, so and so part 3. How many times are you going to do that? You're going to have that one thing, that one word that you're trying to live off. And not bring in variations. And I think that's one thing I've noticed. A couple of artists here who are actually doing sequels of a song what worked out for them, and they think that it's going to work out more if they do like 3 or 4 parts of it. And I think that doesn't work. People want the listeners now, they actually want to hear something what they can hear constant.
I mean, look at the the I forgot his name now. It's just I don't listen to him that much enough, but he's massive. You know that song? He came here for tour. He's from Canada.
Oh, what's his face?
Oh, this is terrible, guys.
Was it Deep Jandu?
No, not Deep Jandu. Duani. He's actually got a program on Amazon as well right now.
Oh, right. It's one of those artists, isn't it, where you don't remember.
What I mean, it's just that I'm showing my age. It's that I'm not into it. But when what I mean is this guy's massive.
Yeah.
He's Tanzania. I forgot the name now. Tillon. What's his name?
Ep2. Yeah,
Ep2. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah. So that guy's massive, and it's you know what I mean. So he's actually crossed over into mainstream.
Absolutely.
But they kind of see this is the UK is not doing this. The UK is not moving with the times.
And this is where we're lacking. This is exactly where we're lacking at the moment. Where we're currently stuck in a situation where we're just putting out music by getting vocals done from India.
Yeah.
People like Aman here, Popsy, they've all done that. Yeah. There's nothing new. There's nothing new. That's the thing.
I mean, let me give you even the listenership. Let me give you an example. My stats, right, in the UK listening, Hannah, are low, but in Canada,
they're high.
They're so. When I mean high, they're like they're thousands and thousands and thousands high.
Wow. Yeah, that just says it all. Where you would actually, instead of, I've got an idea. Why don't you decide to emigrate to Canada instead?
Man, he got told because I've actually made friends in Canada, and my music's actually doing far better in Canada statistically than UK. And it's like the list, and because my music's like it's not your typical. Because I always try to do something different, alternative.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I try that, and all my songs, even the live sessions I did recently, right, they're just blowing up in Canada.
Wow.
So it's really strange. I mean, it's in the whereas in the UK, but it's almost like if it blows up in Canada, then crosses back over to the UK, then it'll get big.
Oh yeah, look, it's interesting you mentioned this because there's another artist I'm always regularly on the phone with on a daily basis, producer GS Jagger.
Yep.
And even when he puts out any remixes, what he's done of a song. He's getting more listenership in Canada on SoundCloud.
Exactly.
Than the UK.
Exactly.
And he says that people message him from there that when are you coming down to do a live set here? They want him to actually perform there as GS Jagger. Right? But here, he's nowhere to be seen, unfortunately. And
that tells you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just tells you. And I think, after discussing on this and actually hearing this, it's pretty sad and devastating where your home country isn't really progressing or it's not getting as much exposure, like in terms of the June month is going to be starting soon and you're going to be seeing a lot of melee happening. You never see a UK artist performing on the same stage as who they're going to invite from India.
No. Again, that's going to come down to slots and money.
Yeah,
who's going to bring the revenue in? Huh?
Revenue and all that, you're right. And it's kind of like I get a lot of artists saying, "Yaar, ki pata nahi." Sometimes they soch they we might as well just call it a day from music because we're not getting live shows. We're not getting opportunity to perform on a Miller, and share the same stage. We might as well just call it a day of music. Like there's a lot of artists I've come across who've kind of made that mind that we want to quit completely.
It's so sad, isn't it?
It's sad, but the fact is that there are people out there where they are actually giving a bit of honsla to each other. Go na, do it, keep continue. You're not going to be sat just in front of your computer screen all day. One day you're going to be out there and you're going to be smashing it on the stages.
You create your own thingy, right? We create our own network, a UK Bhangra network, right? And we'll do our own shows.
Well, look, end of the day, you're forming a band. You formed a band now.
Yeah.
And I think it's good in the sense that you've got your own control what kind of audience you want to capture.
Mm.
Because I know you're wanting to take Punjabi music here mainstream.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah,
that's your aim. And I would say, I think artists who may listen to this podcast should actually follow this kind of footstep, because this is what we want. We want to see our culture. We want to see our artists performing in front of a mixed audience. ਭਾਵੇਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਸਮਝ ਨਾ ਲੱਗੇ, that's ਵੱਖਰੀ ਗੱਲ. That's a different thing. That's a different subject completely. It's a matter of the flavor. They want to, it's about, because I know when Punjabi MC came out with Mundian to Bach Ke Rahi, I was in high school then. And all my white friends, English friends, they had that as their ringtone on their mobile. You know, the Nokia 3210, right? Used to have that ding, 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 right? I used to have Mundian to Bach Ke Rahi, and, I thought, are you guys serious? He's like, man, it's a sick tune, man. It's a sick tune. I said, I remember this guy, a mate of mine, and he had that as his ringtone. I'm saying, ding, 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 ding. He was like, ding, 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 right? I said, do you actually understand the lyrics? Right? And he actually made a whole, faluda of the actual lyrics, because he couldn't speak Punjabi anyway.
Yeah.
I just got with the composition and the tune. He said, it's a sick beat, man. It's a sick beat. Right? But I would say now is the time to, if we're really, look, I want to be very straight. If we really love Bhangra music in the UK, I think we need to cut down the crap and actually do something.
100%, bro. 100%.
And do it, because look, end of the day, talent harek bande ko la, it's a producer, a songwriter, or a singer. I think they need to cut down, this thing of complaining and actually do something now.
Exactly, bro. As I said, if there's no way, you have to make a way.
Oh yeah. Look, if you're going to be expecting, look, I'll be very honest with you. Although I'm some massive producer or whatever, right? I'm in a struggling stage myself. I'm not expecting radio stations and TV channels to support me. Because once that's going to happen, time da koi pata nahi hunda, but your passion for music changes to more of a business.
Absolutely, it has to be.
And I don't, I don't want to do that. I've got, I've got my own firm, I've got my own company. Music for me is like worship. Right? Tika radio station support karenge, sir, I respect that. And, everyone dreams that ek time mera bhi gana bajje on the radio station, right? But, it's just that thing where you don't want to be heartbroken. Because there's people out there where, as we discussed previously about playlisting. And it would be quite disheartening when you get put down to a playlist where you're not going to be playing in a playlist where you've got established artists.
But that's unrealistic, isn't it? So
it's unrealistic, yeah, it's unrealistic. But so I would say, look, the time is now to decide what direction we want to take our industry. That's about it, really.
Yeah, 100%. And with that, I'm gonna sort of finish off and just tell me what's next for you.
Next for me, well, currently I am working. I mean, I had dropped a soundtrack, a devotional track again, a couple of a month ago. Bada pyar satkar milya from many people. They liked the vibe I brought of rag and classical kind of bakar with tabla in there and everything. But now I'm taking a slight little U-turn. I am going to be dropping a summer anthem.
Nice.
So it's a time in June where everyone needs to wear their kache, right? with the t-shirts, with their shades, right? Or maybe the Liverpool top as well. Right? So I'll be dropping a summer anthem very soon. It's I would say it's a soundtrack which I'm quite lucky and privileged to work with both artists. There's two artists on the soundtrack. One's a UK artist, and one is a Canadian artist.
Nice.
So I'm very lucky and privileged because I've heard them back in the days. this has happened coincidentally that I've paired up with them to do this, and you all see it on social media very soon. And it's I would say I would consider it to be an experimental track.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something where, you know, like yourself as well, when you listen to your music, बंदा तंग आ जाता है कि यार पता नहीं मैं तो बोर हो गया सुन के गाना लोगों ने कितना सुनना, right? So I've had enough of it now, right? So it's the time of you guys to actually listen to that.
I can't wait. Yeah.
So it's going to be around in mid-June. The bus and just it's just going to be a song to look forward for.
So, guys, look out for that in mid-June. If you listen to this podcast, then just support it. Just share it. Have a listen. If you like it, give some feedback as well.
Lovely, fantastic, man, fantastic.
So,
very interesting conversation, man.
Absolutely. हो गया 1.5 घंटा हो गया.
Oh my god.
Don't worry, guys. Most of my podcasts are not going to be this long. It's just that me and Raman, once we get started, that's it. So just if you let everyone know where they can follow you, where they can sort of find out more about you, your social media, that'd be great.
Absolutely, yes. So you can catch me on Instagram as at RJ Raman UK. You can catch me on Twitter, RJ Raman UK1. You can catch me on Facebook and my YouTube channel as RJ Raman Official, where I've got my past radio recordings, Instagram lives, and now talk about a bit of music now as well. So it's a full, it's a platform. I've kind of dedicated my platform to every single artist. In a sense, the good content where minu lagda I like it. Mm-hmm. I support them. I don't mind sharing, you know, even it's your work or any other artist's work in terms of, like where there is a concept, where something look forward for, like even I mean, Just Rit's new EP, what he's dropped as well. I mean, Barkamal, I would say. I mean, the collection of, you know, songs he's got in there. I mean, overall, it's a perfect project he's worked on.
Absolutely.
I didn't have no hesitation on sharing that. So, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਵਧੀਆ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦਾ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ I would say standard ਦਾ ਕੰਮ, right? Because standard is very important in music when it comes down here, because we want some good content. And we need to extract the good stuff out and bring it forward and share it to everyone else. So I don't mind sharing anyone's work on there. So yeah, you can catch me on all them platforms.
Absolutely. And I just want to give you another shout out. Raman Paji does excellent graphics. He's done graphics for me in the past as well. So if you want your graphics done as well, check him out. Honestly, he'll do it straight from scratch. Yeah, but if they come, 10% discount doga?
10% की देखो जे थोड़े मिडल इन द होया ना बंदा, they owe me a मिठाई का डब्बा.
So
right,
yep.
क्योंकि मिठाई इतने चज दी मिलदी नहीं है Leeds, right?
चलो ठीक है.
In Midlands, right? They already, there's 2 artists from Birmingham, they owe me मिठाई के डब्बे, and I always remind them, right? I said, you do know you're already on debt.
Yeah, so check him out as well, guys. Check his graphics out. Am I allowed to disclose some of the artists you've done graphics for?
I've got no issues. You can disclose it as much as you want.
So he's done graphics for Ritz. He's done Sukshinder Shindapaji. There's many more. He's done graphics for myself, and there's loads of other artists he's done himself. Do you want to mention some of them?
Yes, so I've worked on projects with Shindapaji, as you mentioned, yourself, Just Ritz. I have done design work for Sani Surendra as well.
Yep.
I have done various design work for Ahmed Sapaji as well, top writer.
And Ramir the Sky as well, no?
Absolutely great guy, man. Absolute great guy, gem. And yeah, I've done design work for. I mean, I'm currently working on some design work projects for Sani Surendra again. I am working for Free Q Records.
Yep.
Which the Retract albums just recently come out on there. I'm working with them on artwork. I have Manindra Shindapaji, the son of the great legend Surendra Shinda. He's going to be dropping a single very, very soon as well. So he's given me the artwork for that as well. So kam chalda ja raha, you know, I'm just more concentrating on the static design work. I get a lot of inquiries for lyrical videos and that. It's not something I'm going to do, but chance lagya, if I got that confident and I'm able to do it, I'll do it. But at the moment, focusing on static cover art and thumbnails and all the social media posters, mainly just focusing on that at the moment.
So guys, check him out, guys. You know where his social media is. है ना ते मेरा नाम ले दियो है ना नाम लेके I'm sure he'll sort you out.
पहले डिस्काउंट मिल जाएगा कोई चक्कर नहीं
डिस्काउंट मिल जाएगा. Yeah, so check him out, guys. Honestly, top bloke. And Raman, absolutely the massive pleasure talking to you, and it's been like over an hour and a half again.
Man. Respects, man. Respects. Maza aa gaya वैसे गलबात करना. It was a first podcast for myself.
Yeah.
I never done podcast, so it was exclusive किस्म दी. So बहुत धन्यवाद थोड़ा भाजी. You know, you've invited me in this conversation.
No, I had to. You know why? Because I thought, because this podcast is more about people I know. I mean, there's gonna be like sort of people, odd people that you know that I don't know, and you know, just more of a professional podcast.
Yeah.
But it's more about galbat, and if I know you, Hannah.
That's it.
So, and I couldn't think of a better person, really. So, thank you so much.
Kya baat hai. Much appreciated, man.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Okay, God bless you, and hopefully speak to you soon.
Lovely, absolutely. All the best. God bless, and thank you to everyone who've listened to this podcast, and do support us, and even Baji as well with his music. God bless to everyone.
Okay, thank you. Bye. And guys, so that was the last, the second edition of this podcast. So if you can share, like, and subscribe, and put reviews if you're on Apple Podcasts or what was the other one? Spotify. It's where I haven't slept because of Wembley yesterday. And also just follow Raman Padi on all his socials and share, like, and support for his new upcoming song as well. God bless you all. Thank you.